Hello, welcome to part 3 of the early modern poetry lecture. So we've looked at early modern poetry and sonnets. We've looked at Petrarch's Rima 190 and Sir Thomas Wyatt's Whoso Lists to Hunt, which was a loose adaptation of Petrarch's Rima 190. And I've demonstrated how to break down a sonnet's formal elements with Sidney's Sonnet 91 from Astrophil and Stella. I'd like to now talk about the third sonnet in this week's reading, the very famous Sonnet 130 by William Shakespeare, also known as My Mistress' Eyes Are Nothing Like the Sun. By the way, do you see how this name is not capitalized and is in brackets? That's how you note the title of a poem that has a number for its name. The brackets and non-capitalization indicate that the title given is actually the first line of the poem. I won't go too far into analyzing this poem for you, other than to give you a little bit of background on Shakespearean sonnets and this sonnet in general. Of course, I talked about the Shakespearean sonnet rhyme scheme and structure in the first of these 3 lectures. Shakespeare published early versions of some of the sonnets, number 128 and number 144, in a poetry collection called The Passionate Pilgrim in 1599. Which was 1 year before Hamlet was probably written. The sonnet collection in its entirety was published in 1609. The sonnets have been loosely divided over the years by scholars into 2 categories, with the final 2 sonnets, 153 and 154, standing outside of the 2 categories. Sonnets 1 through 26 are known as the fair youth sonnets and are addressed to a young man of a higher social class than the poem's speaker. Sonnets 127 through 152 are called the dark lady sonnets, and that's where Sonnet 130, which we'll read in this week's reading, comes from. We don't know much about this dark lady, and I've already given you enough gossip from early modern England today. Although, feel free to dig into this for your first paper if you'd like. As you read Sonnet 130, note where the volta falls. What is going on before the volta, and what conclusion does the speaker reach in the volta? Also, how is Shakespeare using or subverting Petrarchan elements, like the typical Petrarchan beauty trope or the blason? I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this sonnet. That's all.